Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to data structure session. Please confirm if you can hear me. Yes, so last session I gave you first homework questions, right? So first we'll try homework question today and then we'll proceed. So the first homework question is note homework question. So anyone completed the note homework question? Please write in the chat. Okay, one, two, three. So now, then I'm giving you access. You can try this node homework question again here. So let me create one folder on the desktop 22/3/2021 DSA, and this file name is notes demo.cpp. Okay, so I'm giving you access, Junaid. Try this. So everyone see this code carefully. How we already tried the nodes demo, find out possible minimum possible number of nodes for the amount, but we have to try now using loop. So see this carefully. So first we have node array. Okay, 2000, 5000, 500, sorry, 200, 100, correct, 50, 20 and 10, right. Then we have nodes count. Okay, so there are seven nodes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, all nodes count are 0. Okay, very good logic. And then we are creating amount variable. Enter. Yes, what happened? Yes, you want something?
Sir,
Yeah.
sorry, I guess I'm doing the wrong homework. We had to do that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that one, right?
Yes. No,
Okay, so,
not 1 2 3 4. We have to do the total minimum possible nodes.
oh, the minimum one.
Minimum one.
Sir,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have 4200 amount,
I guess
so
we did the minimum one last time.
yeah, we did, but not using loop. Like for example, if you have 4200, this is the amount, let's say. So you will display 2000. There are two nodes, and for 200 there is one node. So
Okay.
minimum possible nodes are three.
Okay. Okay.
So this is what we want.
Okay.
So have you done this one?
Yes, yes, I have.
Okay. Okay. So enter the amount and then accept amount. Correct. Okay, so after accepting amount, then we are using loop 0 to 6, right? If amount is less than, e- okay, amount is greater than note of I, okay, very good. So we are writing note count of I equal to amounts slash or this is count, right? So we'll use slash, and then we will do no that note, yeah, amount, correct. Amount is amount modulo that node, correct. Then after the yeah, inside that if block you can print after dividing node, so it will print that note is printed. So how we can do that? Right, C out, then note of I, then give again less than that C out, then double quotes, write something like equal to sign, okay, and then we will give that note count I. So it will give first display the note number and then its count if the number the note get divides. So let's see it's working, and then after the for loop you can print your note and note count. One more loop, yeah. So yeah, let's try this first. 4,300, let's say anything anyway. So say it's printing for 2002 notes, for 201 note and 101 note. Just put endl there so we can see properly. Endl in that if block. Yeah, and one more for loop will create same here. After this for loop, create one more loop same. I equal to 0, I less than 6, I equal to 6, I plus plus. And here we'll print, we have to do the sum logic actually. How many total nodes we required. So how we can sum? So we are going to write int sum, that sum logic we created and also use in factorial, equal to 0, sum equal to sum plus nodes, node underscore count I, node underscore count I, correct. And just give a space there after int space I in the for loop, int space I, that's, yeah. And then sum we have to display after the loop actually. In loop it will do the sum, and once the loop completes we'll get a sum, the print total number of nodes sum. Just give semicolon here in this for loop line, that semicolon is remaining in the second for loop line. And one more thing, declare this int sum outside of the loop, because inside loop it will every time become 0. Declare it outside, int sum equal to 0, otherwise every iteration it will becomes 0 and will not get sum. Yeah, so now I think it should work. Run this, enter amount. So see it's showing for 4,300. The best possible is keep 2,000 notes, two notes, 4,000, then 2,000, 200, sorry, 200 one note, and for 101. So total you have to carry four notes uh, for this 4,300 notes. So this is the minimum least possible notes required for this amount. And this is the correct logic. So I will tell you, see what we used here. It's a simple and easy to understand logic. If you remember what I did in my code, when I return this code, I wrote 6 to 7 if block. If you remember, 7 if block. Yes. So what I did here, amount is greater than 2000. Okay. And then I return amount is greater than 500. Then amount greater than 200. Amount greater than 100. 50. 10. So I created same 7 if blocks. So now we don't want 7 if block to create. So what we did, we just created a array and we are taking value out from the array. So first value of our node array is 2000. So it will check if our amount is greater than equal to 2000. Then in the next iteration, next value. Amount is greater than 500. Then again next value. Amount is greater than 200. Amount is greater than 100. 50. So if you see, we have we don't have here 7 if blocks, but actually this loop is repeating. That's why it will repeat our if block for 7 times. And we have same if logic which we added earlier. Amount greater than 2000, amount greater than 500, 200, 100, 50, 10. So everything is added in array, and this value we are taking from our array. So in short, we are creating same 7 if blocks here, but because of the array and loop, we don't have to write 7 times if block, which is reducing our number of lines. But the comparison, number of comparison, everything is same number of comparison, everything, but the number of lines are reduced here. So after checking if the amount is greater than 100, we divide that number. Then we also took the remainder to see what is the remaining amount. For example, your amount is 4,300 and 4,300 is greater than 2,000. Yes. So because it is greater than 2,000, so we will divide 4,300 by 2,000. So the remaining amount is 300. Then we'll carry forward and do the so on. So finally, after dividing all the by all the nodes, all possible nodes, then we count the sum using the sum logic, which we also used in factorial. The same logic we use in sum of first and natural numbers. The same we are using here.
सर
Yes.
ये जो फर्स्ट लाइन है if के अंदर उसमें मतलब 300 आएगा ना फर्स्ट लाइन में क्योंकि 2000 से गया तो फिर 2 बार जाएगा.
Yeah, first it will divide by 2000, then 300 remaining. So
Yes.
the next value will take 500, but 500, 300 is not greater than 500. 300 is not greater than 500 because 300 is remaining in amount variable. So it will not repeat. Then it will take 200. So 300 is greater than 200. Yes. So it will be divided by 200. And after dividing by 200, what is remaining? 100.
100.
Yes. So 100 is remaining. So we'll take then 100. So 100 is greater than equal to 100. Yes, it's equal to, so it will divide by 100. So means this if block will repeat 3 times only. One for 2000, for 200 and 100. And then nothing is remaining. So these all, it's not going to execute the block. So only 3 times it will execute this if block. Line number 16 is dividing a number. Na? For example, the amount is 2000. Sorry, amount is 4,300 like we entered in our output. And if you divide by your node is the first node is 2000. So when you divide 4,300 by 200, 2000, what is the uh, output we get? What is the value we get? Tell me what is 4,300 by 2000? Two nodes. 4,300 by 2000 is 2. So we got two nodes here. See, 2. So that's why we are dividing numbers so we can get the node count. How many nodes for 2000 are there? So for 2000, two nodes. So remaining amount also we have to check. total number of nodes also we have to check. So it's the same code we added there. It's same code only. So only instead of writing if block again and again, we added a loop and array, and our number of lines are reduced.
सर
So yes.
70 लाइन में 300 बचा तो 300 को वो मॉड्यूलो करेगा हर नोट से.
No, after doing the 17 line, then 300 is remaining.
या
The amount is 4,300 divided by 2,000. Then the 300 is remaining in the 17th line. After doing the modulo, we got 300. After doing modulo, we got 300. Okay. So here we got now total number count is 2 nodes. And after doing this modulo means taking remainder, then we got 300, which gets carry forward and again check the condition, divide, and it will keep checking the condition. So see, this is also based on the array and loop here. We have to take numbers, node numbers out from our array and divide. So if you write down this in a book, I will suggest you that write down this if inside your book and then compare with our previous code. So you will find same if which we have written here. You will find same in there, that code also. Okay, so how you can create if block means I am just giving one example. So the rest 6 you can create and then check all 7 if block, you will find same there. So if first of all amount, let's say amount is 4,300 entered, 4,300 is amount. So write down this 4,300 is greater than equal to note of I value is 0. So what is note of 0? 2,000. We just write it. Don't do a calculation or something. Just write it. Now note count of I. Note count is our array equal to amount. Amount is our 4300 divided by note of I. Note of I is same 2000. After that we are doing amount is equal to amount or divided by modulo note of I. Note of I is 2000, which is 4300 divided by 2000. So we get here 300. So in the next line, it will display Cout note of I means 2000. 2000 notes are note of count. So count value we got here is 2. So this has happened in the first iteration. We got 4,300 from user because it was greater than 2000. We divided it. We got total number of nodes 2 and remaining amount is 300, which will carry forward next iteration. So 2000 for 2000 node, there are how many nodes? 2 nodes. So this is what we got from this code. And then again, there are more iterations, but you can try the same thing in the demo we created without for loop, and you will get same type of values there. You will get 4,300, 2,000 here. You are going to divide by 2,000. But there we did manually, means every block is separately written. Here it is repetition. So now there is one more question I gave you last session. So the question last session, first of all, it was Saturday 20. So I have here one folder 2020 DSA. And this is the demo, array demo. So let me copy and paste this same. in today's folder. 20 second. Where is this node demo is saved? 22nd DSA. Yes, 22nd DSA. I think this DSA file is saved somewhere else. Twenty-two 3 DSA. Second DSA. Nodes demo, array demo. Okay, so this is our second question. You have done a code. Yeah, I will check the code. I will come to the screen. Just wait for a minute. So first we'll try this code. How many numbers you want to enter? Anyone tried this demo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, is it working? Junaid? Working, okay. So yeah, actually what happened in some of the C++ software, we are not allowed to do this. Means like you cannot give a size with a variable. Means some old C++ software have a problem. So I was just worried about that. If it is the same problem here, so I think it's not a problem. So we can try this using namespace std int main. So the question is, first you have to give this message, how many numbers you want to enter. Ask user, how many numbers would you like to enter? So give a message. After giving a message, take that number. So you got number. Now you have to take same numbers from user. Means if user say 3, you have to accept 3 numbers. So how you can accept 3 number? First of all, you require to an array of size 3. If user say 5, your array size should be 5. If user say 9, your array size should be 9. So whatever user is entering, that should be your array size. So how you can do this? Very easy. Create your array and put the size as n. So if you say that how many numbers you want to enter and user is inserting, let's say 9 or 98, so your array size automatically become 98. So your array has a capacity to store 98. And then you know how to create a loop for taking data in array. Just have to start one loops with a 0 index, because array index starts from 0, and less than the size. Size is nothing but n here, and I plus plus. And in this, you will take data using ARR of I. ARR is your array name, I is the index, ARR of 0. So let's say user say I want to enter 5 values. So what is your array? Array size is 5. How many times this loop will repeat? 5 times. And where it will store data? ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR 2, 3, and ARR 4. So it will store total 5 values in 5 blocks of our array, 5 partitions of our array. Let's check whether this is working, because I told you this is the half part. This is the main part we have to first focus on. So if it is working, so we can proceed further. I will not do the further part. As I always say, first don't try everything, just try the half part. So now when I run the program, first I have to close this previous output window. So let's go now line by line. When you execute the program, we know the C++ enters in a main function. It's asking us how many numbers you want to enter. Let's say I want to enter 4 numbers. So now when I enter 4, the array size become 4, and this loop is now going to repeat 4 times. First, the data is going to store at 0 position of array, the 1 position of array, 2 position of array, and finally 3 position of array. So everything worked. We cannot see the data is stored in array or not, but whatever we see from the output, it looks, yes, it is inserting data into array. Just to check whether data is entered in array or not, I will just print the same data as it is. Just same data to check whether data is inserted or not. So the same code maybe you have used before to store data from taking from user and printing. Same can be used, only this was a different thing which we have to focus on. Array numbers are, so if I execute the program, same thing, it is asking how many numbers you want to enter. Let's say I said 3. So 3 is stored in n, array size is 3. It's going to take input at 0 position, 1 position, 2 position. All the values entered properly in our array. And now the same values are printed from the same positions of our array. It's working, means the main part of our code is done. Taking data, and actually it was same because this thing you did before, like taking data from user and printing, but the array size is not fixed. This was the only logic on which you have to actually work. Anyone has any doubt in this part?
सर
Yes.
एरे नहीं लिया है, ऐसे ही फोर लूप करके करवाया तो फिर वो नहीं प्रिंट करेगा ना.
Sorry, your voice, your volume, check.
एरे में आपने ये एरे लिया है ना, वो एरे नहीं लिया था, सिर्फ फोर लूप लगाया था, तो फिर नहीं प्रिंट होगा ना.
No, for loop is required to print. Now this for loop is to take data, see in, and this is to print. Yeah, before without writing for and see out, we cannot print. Otherwise, you can print ARR of 0, ARR 1, ARR 2 manually. But of course, that is not a good thing. And here we cannot do that because we don't know how many values are there in array. When user enter, that is the array size.
Okay.
So loop is required to accept data also and display also. For both, the loop is required. Now the question comes, we are printing our array elements, like your array elements entered are 4, 6, 2, let's say. So array elements are entered and printing also, but we don't want to print those as it is, the numbers entered by user as it is. We have to print 1 to the first number, 1 to the second number of array, and 1 to last number. So 1 to each number of our array we have to print. So how you can do that? You have to create one more loop inside this. As I told you, nested loop is required. And here I am going to create one variable starting always from 1, and it will go till ARR of I and J plus plus. That's it. And now here you have to just print J. And here you can give one blank. So let's see what happens. Again, you have to see from here, first line, how many numbers you want to enter. Let's say I want to enter 2 numbers. So our array size is 2. Then enter 2 numbers. Okay, so I entered 2 numbers in this using this loop, and the numbers are 5 and 6. Assume this is your array, and I entered 2 numbers, 0 position 5 and 1 position I entered 6. So 2 numbers are entered, correct? Now let's see how this loop will print 1 to 5 and 1 to 6. 1 to 5 and 1 to 6. How this nested loop will. So first of all, I value is 0. Now what we are saying, this inner loop, see carefully, inner loop is going to start J from 1 and 2. What is the end position of J? Let's see. ARR of I. ARR, yeah, that is our array. I is nothing but I have written value is 0. So what is ARR of 0 here? Tell me. What is ARR of 0? ARR 0 is 5. This is our array 5. So in short, your J variable here is going to start from 1 till the array 0th element, means the first element 5. So it will print 1 to 5. This loop will repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after that, next I value is 1. So again, J variable will start from 1. And this time it will go till ARR of I again. ARR of I is nothing but ARR of I value is this time 1. So what is ARR of 1? ARR of 1 is this. This is 0. This is 1. So means this time it will print from 1 to 6. So the inner loop is starting from 1 till the array element. So first ARR 0, 1 to ARR 0, then 1 to ARR 1. So it is printing from 1 to ARR 0 is 1 to 5, and then 1 to ARR of 1 is 1 to 6. So in short, this increasing I variable, we are reaching the next element of our array and printing 1 to that number. If you execute this, enter 2, same 5 and 6, let's say. For example, see, it's printing 1 to 5, 1 to 6. If you take different numbers, then no problem. Like if you enter 3, numbers 2, 4, and 6, random numbers, see 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 6. So the outer loop here is just giving you the index number of array 0, 1, 2, and the inner loop is going always from 1 to the array index position. Array of 0, array of 1, array of 2, 1 to that array of index. And that's why it is printing 1 to each number of our array. Yes.
सर
Yes.
ये जो इनर लूप लगाया है आपने वो ARR ऑफ आई है, मतलब जो इसकी स्टार्टिंग वैल्यू है आई की 0 फर्स्ट, तो पहले वो प्रिंट करेगा.
See, I value is 0, right? And then the J loop started. So J value, starting value is 1, and the end value is less than equal to ARR of I. ARR of I is nothing but that is 5, because ARR of 0. So it means it will print 1. See what we are printing. In cout, what we write, that it's going to print. Okay. It will not print I because we are not printing anywhere cout I. It will print J. So J value is 1. In next iteration, it will become 1 increment. So sorry, 1 it is already. So 1, then next iteration 2, then 3, then 4. And finally, when it becomes 5, it will print 5. And then when it becomes 6, it will stop. So this is the start value, this is the end value. This loop is going to print 1 to 5.
ओके सर. सर मुझे ना ऐसा चाहिए कि ARR 0 पे जो है वो प्रिंट हो, मतलब सिर्फ 5 प्रिंट हो, तो क्या लिखेंगे? ARR ऑफ आई.
No, you don't have to write this. If you want only one value to print, so you don't require two loop. You just have to take one loop and write 1 to the ARR 0. That's it. So ARR 0 is 5. Correct. So I value is going to start, sorry, what is this? J. J value is going to start from 1 to ARR of 0, which is 5. So it will just print 1 to 5. So the nested loop is required because you want to take each position. If you have only one position you want, you can take one loop. That's it.
थैंक यू सर.
Or in the I also you can write I equal to 0 and I less than equal to 0, means I value will be 0 only. I value is 0, it will start, print, and then stop. After 0 it will not become 1. So this also print 0 index position of array. So this is the code. So the code is actually same like we use to store data from, take from user and store and display Normally we take 4 5 fixed data from user and print. So this is a new thing. This part is a new thing, and a nested loop, that is a logic part. So that we have to like think like how we can reach each index. So the nested loop here is helping us. So now yes, you can share your screen, Shikha.
Sir, I have mailed you.
Okay, so what is that code? Is the same code?
Yes, sir.
So have you found anything wrong in your code after comparing with my code here?
No, sir.
Same as it is.
Yes.
Still it's giving error.
No, sir, it's not error. I just wanted to say whether it is right or wrong.
What is the email ID?
Flame
Flames.
tech.
Okay, so you have one separate function print num. Here you are taking array, and you have a size. So size k equal to 0 till size, and it will print ARR of k, means ARR of 0. Then it will print ARR 1, and you have one loop also, correct? How many numbers you want to enter? We say, let's say 5, so 5 time it will repeat. Store data in. Have you execute this code?
Yes, sir.
So is it working, means it's giving same output, correct output?
Yes.
So on desktop we have HW file name. Okay, so let's execute. How many numbers you want to enter? 5. Enter numbers 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's printing 1 to 11, 1 to 10, 1 to 7, also 1 to 8. Everything is correct. So let's see now the logic which you have used. So first of all, you have an array with size, and then size is passed in the print sum. You're asking how many numbers you want to enter, then you're accepting size, enter numbers, same numbers we accepted, and end it there. So actually you don't have to pass size from here because this variable does not have any value, this size variable. So because we are taking size value from here, from user. And what is the main thing here actually in C++, what is happening is you haven't created array with size before, because size variable does not have any value only, right? If you see what is the size value default, it's a, means it takes garbage value from C++. If you don't give any value, so it doesn't have 0 value, it has some garbage value. Let's print. See, now it is showing 0. Now it is taking 0 there. But sometime it take garbage value, like if we run again, still printing 0 there. So what is happening here is the size variable value we took from user, let's say 5, and then a loop is repeating 5 times. We are taking data also from user 5 times, and the data is stored into our array. But the array size is not defined already, and it is working because C++ is allowing you to take data, means it is allowing you to take first position value, its second, third, fourth position even without declaring, because here when we declare array it was just 0 size. I think deleted that line. Yeah, so size variable value by default it is showing 0 or some random value. So array size is by default 0s, and then how it is taking 5 values, because the software here is C++. Here this software is allowing to take multiple values in array. So there is no problem taking values, and the logic is of course correct. Logic we can see 0 to size, same correct logic. I equal to 1 to array of j. So this logic is completely correct. Very good. And this code is also working, but this code will not work in other language like Java, because in Java when we create array we have to give the size. So you can actually give size later, means you don't have to give here, because it is taking 0. You have seen size is 0. You are taking size value here from user, and then you can create one array and put size here. Currently it's working, so there is no requirement of doing this. But in Java programming language where size is compulsory, if you give 0 size and then later if you put something, it gives error there, array index out of bound exception. Like your array index is only 2 3 indexes and you are trying to store more values, so it gives error. Some of the language like C sharps, Python, then Java, they give error. Here it's not giving error. So we can try this code here also in C++ for a good practice and other languages. So when we ask user to enter number, then we get the size like 8, and then we create array with same size 8. So our array has a size of 8. Correct. So everything is correct, but just one change we can make. So means if we write same logic in other languages, so we can follow same code. Otherwise the code is working and this logic is completely correct. Okay. Yes, any doubt here, any query? Okay, so this code is completely correct. Just before, while declaring array, if we keep size, so it will be the good practice. Currently it's allowing this software, but other software of C++ it doesn't allow, and also in other languages. So both the demos, you can see the nodes demo and this array demo, both are related to array and loops concept. So in both we have to understand indexing properly, how we can create array with our size, how we can take values out from array, how we can play with the array and loop. That is important here. Anyone has any query or doubt here, please write in the chat. Okay, so as we know that in the data structure we started with second chapter and we started with the sorting concept. So there is a bubble sort, there is an insertion sort and a quick sort, which is our third sorting option we have to sort the large list, which we are going to try. But today we are going to try, instead of quick sort, one concept called searching linear search option. So this one is actually a small topic, so that's why we will see this topic. It's not related to sorting. It's a different topic, next topic. Because quicksort will take some time, and actually I have one urgent work. So today we are going to end the meeting a little early, like somewhere 8:30, 8:40. So if you have any doubts, you can share with me, and in between we'll try this small demo called linear search today. So if you have any errors or doubts, you can ask me. Anyone has errors, queries? No errors, no queries. This homework was, I think, a query for you or doubt. So as I told you, if you remember last session, this array demo, the homework which I gave you was one important demo, but it has one thing remaining. Actually, this question is also available in web. Maybe it is a famous question. Early it was very famous. Nowadays, I don't think so. It's that famous. So means it was posted on a web. That's why that it got famous that year 2000 somewhere 14 13 maybe I remember. So this question is related to array. So if we solve this question was posted by one interviewer just to check the knowledge on arrays and loop and if else. So this question which I gave you is half, or not half, 70% is completed. One more part is there we have to add in this. So I will give you that as a again homework question. Okay, so we already solved this array demo. Take numbers from user, display one to each number, each value of our array. But when you print the values, you have to do something different. What is something different? Let me tell you. This part is actually easy now. This is not a complicated one. This one is easy. For example, if I say how many numbers you want to enter, two numbers. Enter more two numbers, 5 and 15. Correct. So of course we'll print 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Correct. So this is what we are doing, and this is done also. We are printing 5 and that 15, 1 to 5 and 1 to 15. But when you print 1 to 5, if any number is divisible by 3, don't print 3 there. Instead of printing 3, print fizz. Instead of printing 3, print fizz there. If any number divide by 3, print fizz. If any number divide by, if divisible by 5, so print buzz. If the number divisible by 3, print fizz. So, and 5, print buzz. So 6 is divisible by 3, so I am printing fizz. 9 is divisible by 3, so print fizz. 10 is divisible by 5, so buzz. 12, fizz. And this is one, you can see 15. Now 15, if you see divisible by both, you can divide it by 3 also and 5 also. So here you will print fizz buzz both together. Fizz buzz. So this is what you have to change. It's actually easy. You just have to add if else there. You know how to divide and check number is divisible or not. So when you print this 1 to 5 and 1 to 15 series, in this loop you have to add if else and print fizz or buzz. Any queries, doubt?
सर
Yes.
ऐसा मतलब एरे का साइज देख के फिर मॉड्यूलो 3 अगर डिवाइड हो रहा है तो फिर सी आउट में ऐसा फीस लिखना पड़ेगा, और ऐसा 5 से हो रहा है तो ऐसा बज लिखना पड़ेगा.
Yes. So the elements you are taking out from your array one by one, don't just print them. When you take the values out from array, first check whether it is divisible by 3 and then print fizz. Okay, if you remember, like if you we tried some demo in array, create array and print only even numbers or odd numbers from array. So it's the same type of demo. When you take the numbers out from the array, first check whether it is divisible by 3. If it is divisible, so print fizz. If it is divisible by 5, so print buzz. Else print both fizz buzz. So if else is required, and inside that you have to print the values. Okay. So the whole code is there, almost 70, I will say 80-90% code is already written. You just have to add if else in the same code. Don't have to create a new code. Okay. So this file I will share with you. You can change in the same file and revert me with your homework file. So as we discussed just now, we are going to try today first something called searching. We tried sorting. If you go to any website like e-commerce website, we sort data price wise, low to high. I want to buy a mobile phone, but I want to sort by low to high or high to low. I want to buy the highest price mobile, so I will sort by high to low. I want to buy low budget mobile, so low to high. So we do sorting on all the website application. So similarly, we also do searching. Like I am also going to search now. Here you can see I'm going to search data structure book. So this is a common, these are common operations in all the applications. These are available, sorting, searching. So now searching is also one important technique in the data structure. This is related to data. Anything related to data is important because it's related to data structure. You are sorting data, you are searching data, both are somewhere related to data structure. So how we can search data efficiently now? You have 5 data like this, and you want to check whether you have a number 2 in this array or not. Do you have 2 number in this? We can see, that's why we can say yes. But how you can write inside your code, how you can write a logic that you have a 2 number inside your array or not? So it's a simple, the simple technique is this. I want to search number 2 in my array. So I will take this number 2, check with the first number, is it 2? No, false. Take the next number out from array, is this one is true? This one is 2, sorry. No. So take next value out, is this 2 number? Yes. So we have to take the numbers out from our array and check one by one that is this number is 2, is this number is number we are searching for. If it is there, so we'll say yes, 2 is there present in the array. And you can also tell the position of that number. It is available in the position 3, at position 3, correct? And if I am searching for number, let's say 10, so 10 number is there in array? No. 10 number is in the first position, sorry, no. So take the next number out, is this a 10? No. Is this 10? No. Is this 10? No. Is this 10? No. So finally we got nothing, so we'll say it's not there in our array. It's not there, it's not present in our array, this number is not there. So this searching is a simplest searching technique. So again, for searching also we have different options, and the simplest searching algorithm is called linear search algorithm. Linear search algorithm, code is very easy and concept wise also easy, but again it is only used for small list, because you can see if you search each element like this one by one, so it will take years. If you have 10,000 of data, lakhs of data, a millions of data, so if you go one by one, so of course it will not take years, but the millisecond will convert to seconds and maybe in minutes also, and then there will be a problem. So now let's see the linear search first. It is loading. So because as the name suggests here, linear, the name of this algorithm is linear. That's why the order of growth of this linear search algorithm is what? O N. O N means linear. And this is the worst order of growth. And what is the best order of growth? That is constant. Constant means O1. So when this constant is possible in linear search, for example, if I am searching a data 3, if I am searching a data 3, I started searching in array, and because of the luck, I got this number in the first place. So we just have to make only one comparison. We started searching for our number 3 and we got it in the first position itself. So that's why we can say this is the best case for our algorithm. And it's just taking 1 second, 1 nanosecond or millisecond. But if I'm searching for a number 6, so I have to make one comparison, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and last position, at last position there we found our number 6. So this is the worst case for our algorithm, and it is taking n time is the data, how many data you have there, 5 data, 5 numbers, and it is taking 5 nanosecond. So there are two, again order of growth, two cases in this linear search algorithm. The one is best case, another is worst case. The best case is constant. If you are searching for a data and it is present in the first position, so you are lucky you got data, so that's a constant. But if you are searching for a number which is present in the last, or it's not there only in the list, so how many comparisons you have to make? N number of comparisons. Means you will search a complete list. You have 5 elements, search for all 5 elements. It will take 5 nanoseconds. So this is the worst case. So there are two order of growth, you can say, for linear search algorithm. But this is the simplest searching technique. No logic formula required here. Just take out data from your array, like normally we take for calculating even odd numbers, searching even odd or calculating square cube of array numbers. Just take the values out from the array and compare whether it is the value you are searching for or not. So I think the session is expired maybe. I have to log in again here. Close this. So we'll try the code for this. This code is very easy, means the simplest searching algorithm. No formula or complex logic required for this. IOStream. Let's save this linear search .cpp using namespace std int main. Here I'm going to create one array. This array is 2, 4, 3, 5, 7. And let's say I want to search number, and that number is 5. I've just taken any random number here. So the simple way, just take all the values out from your array one by one. Your array size is 4. Last index is so equal to 4 I plus plus. If the ARR of I is equal to search number, the number you are searching for, then print that number. Okay, or you can do one thing, take one variable count. You don't have to take even count, just I variable declare outside here, I equal to 0, and here we'll write one keyword called break, and then we will print take one more variable, bool. So I will explain you what I am adding extra in this if status So let's understand this demo. So as I told you, it's simplest searching algorithm because we required only one loop here. Take values out, compare, and if found, so I am taking one variable help. So first of all, see this is your array 2, 4, 3, 5, 7. Okay, and what I want to search is 5. So I have taken one variable here called status. I have given the name as status, and by default I am saying status value is false. So false because I am saying by currently in starting I have not got any value. I have not found the value yet. So currently the status I am giving is false, and I variable value is 0. So remember the I variable value, it's important. Now tell me ARR of I. What is ARR of I? ARR of 0. I value is 0, so ARR of 0 is 2 is equal to search number. Search number is 5. Is it true? No, false. So the condition false will repeat loop again. I value next I value is 1. So ARR of 1, ARR of 1 is 4 is equal to search number. No, it's not. Again false. So we'll not enter in the loop. Enter in the if block. We'll just go and continue with our for loop. I value is 2. ARR of 2 is equal to search number. Search number is 5. So ARR of 2 is first of all 3. ARR of 2 position is 3. So 3 is 5. No, it is also not 5. False. So again repeat your loop. Now 3. So ARR of 3, this is now the 5. Is it equal to the search number? So ARR of 3 is this value 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. Is it equal to same the search number? Yes. So finally this is true. And because this is true, I am changing my status. Status value was false. It is now changing it to true. And after changing it, I will say break the loop because we don't have to check our array further. We got our value, we'll just break our loop here. So the entire loop is going to break. Remaining values are not going to be checked. And after that, we'll ask, is the status is true now? Because if the status value become true means it entered the block, it got the search number. So yes, we got the search number. That's why our status is true. And that's why we will print array of I. I value if you see is 3. So what is ARR of 3? 5. So it will print 5 found at ARR of I value is 3. It's written already there. So 5 found at I value is 3 and space position. So if you concat this complete cout, if you join this complete cout message, so you got this message 5 found at 3 position. 5 ARR of I is 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3, so 5 is ARR of I. 5 then found at colon I value is 3, so 3 position. So 5 found at 3 position, or you can write 5 value found at 3 position. So if you run the code, we are expecting same output. See, 5 value found at 3 position. Third position, you can add that other options also. Currently just 5 found at 3 position. So what we are doing here, we are taking the values out from array. First we are taking 2, we are checking with 5, it's not same. Then we take 4 out, is it 5? No. 3 out, is it 5? No. And finally 5 when we take and check with the search number, yes, it is same. That's why we are going to change the status true. This is just one like kind of helping variable I created. So the status variable, when it's become true, and then we'll stop the loop, we stop the searching, and if the status value is true, it will give the value. You can take one more example here, like if I am searching for a number 9, okay, so what will happen, your status value is false, status value is false, we'll take 0 position first, is it search number? No. Then next 4, is it search number? No. Take the next number, is it search number? No. Now next is 5, is it equal to 9? No. 7 is equal to 9? No. So finally we repeated loop 4, 5, 6, 4, 5 times, 5 times. But after repeating, the condition never satisfied. So it did not enter the block. So our status is still false. Because it is false, will not print anything. If you want, you can write else here and print value not found in array or value not present in array. So if you print this, if you run this program now, I am searching for C value 9. See what happens here. A semicolon is removed. Yeah. See, it's showing value not found in array. If I search 9, it's not finding. If I find 7, it will find, showing 7 found at position 4.
सर
Yes.
ये bool की जगह main पे ही लिख सकते हैं क्या?
Yeah, so bool is our data type we can use for boolean. This help us to store two values. It can only hold two values, either true or false. So normally we get answer as true or false whenever we write condition. When you write condition in if block or for loop here or while block, so we get true false. But if you want to create a variable to store a true and false, these fixed words are there in C++. So you can use bool. You cannot use int because false is not a int value, right? So that's why it cannot store. So bool is a separate block you can use. Sorry, data type you can use to store the data. So some language we write boolean, here we write bool, which is representing same boolean. And if we create int variable also, it will work. Then you have to take different logic of yours, like by default status is 1. If we search the data, we'll make status 0. Then you can write if status is 0, means you found the data. So we just have to create logic. So we can use any variable, there is no problem. You can take char variable also, like char status is by default n. N means like no. And when we find data, we'll make it y. Y means yes. And we'll say if it is y, means we found the data. We entered if block, we found data. So we'll print it. Otherwise, we'll say not found. So any data type will work there. But a boolean has this true false thing. So boolean is easy to use. Otherwise, int char any data type will work.
सर
Yes.
अगर int लिया तो status जो आपने एक कंडीशन लिखी है वहाँ पे 1 लिखना पड़ेगा ना ऐसा true के लिए.
See, by default, I have taken status as 1. 1 means not found. And if we found data in if block, I am writing 0. So because it is 0, when we enter if block, then we are making it 0. 0 means we found data. So here we have to write 0. 0 means we entered if block, we found data. So we can say data found. You can take any number. You can take 0 there, 1 here. So you will write 1. So it becomes our choice. It's not 1 0. You can take 11 also there. 1 1 1. And here 0 0 0. So here you can write 0 0 0. So if we get 0 0 0 means status found. 1 1 1 means not found. So numbers we can take from our own choice, or char value can take from our choice. A boolean is simple to remember because it has true and false on. And you don't even have to write equal to true here. See, it's working. So what happens, for example, I am searching for a number 2. I am searching for a number 2. Okay, in my array. So when we take 5, by default status is false. I am writing here. Okay, by default status is false. Then take the first element from our array 2. Is it equal to the search number? Yes, it is equal to. Yes, true. So our status value become true now. From false it became true. Break the loop. Don't check any other remaining number because we don't have to check. We already found in the first place. So stop the loop and the status value. Now tell me what is status value. What is the status value? See, I have written here comment. It is true. So if you remember in if block, whenever we get true answer, we enter the loop. Normally we write a condition and when the condition get true answer, we enter the loop. Now because status itself has a value true, so it will enter in the if block. You don't have to check whether equal to true or not. Because it is itself a true or false. So if it is false, it jumps on else part, and if it is true, so it enters in a if block. So because it's a boolean variable, you don't have to even compare. If status has false value, it goes to else. If status has true value, it enters in a block. So that's why writing equal to is not required for boolean variable. In if else, if block, while block, you don't have to write true or equal to there if your variable is boolean. See, it's showing two value found at 0 position, 0 index position. If you want to display by normal position, you can do +1 there. So two value found at 0 index position currently we are printing. If you do +1, so it will show 0, two value found at one position. If you want to display normal position wise, you can add +1. So anyone has any doubt here? Is this code clear?
सर
Yeah.
आपने यही भी स्टेटस क्यों लिखा नहीं समझा?
See, tell me what is the status value. Okay, when I search number 2, go line by line. Search number is 2. Okay, status value, remember, it's a false value. So track the value of status, it is false. Now what is ARR of 0? First element 2. And what we are searching for? 2. So we found it true. Now the status value changed from false to true. Its value is true now. Correct? Yeah, remember the status value. Now write down that value here. What is the status value? What is status has in it? True. So if you remember, whenever in the if block, when we get true, we enters in the if block. So because we got true here, now that's why we'll enter in the block. So tell me, if we write 2 greater than 3, what is the answer for this?
सर ये एरे का बात कर रहे हो आप?
No, it's not array, it's normal. Tell me just this answer. What is 2 greater than 3?
सर false 2 greater नहीं है ना 3 सर.
So we'll get false here. Because we got false here, it will jump on else block. And similarly, if I write 3 greater than 2, so what we will get here for this comparison? True answer. So because we get true, we enter in if block. So normally when we write comparison, we get true or false value. So similarly, status variable also currently has a true value. So if I just write status, means I have written there true. And because it is true, it will enter in a block and print the value found at position. So actually I did not change code. Code is as it is. Okay, and it is also printing see 2 value found at 0 index position. I just changed this equal to true here. We don't have to check whether status is true or not because it's itself is a true or false. So when something itself is a true false, we don't have to compare whether it is true or false separately. So I just removed that equal to true thing from there. So because you can see status value, you only said here, you can see in comment also it's true. So because it is true, it enters in a block and it will display value found. If it is false, it will jump in else block and display it's not. So it is not related to array or searching. Searching is working just to print a message. The status variable is helping us.
सर
Yes.
स्टेटस की जगह हम ट्रू में लिख सकते हैं क्या?
Yeah, you can write true. Then what will happen? We will check now. Let's say I am searching for a value 100. Now tell me, is the zero position is 100?
No, I
This
नहीं.
no one is 100, right? No one is 100. So are we going to go inside this if block? Hello, can we go inside?
नहीं.
Yeah. So we will not go inside this if block at all, because we will take each number from array, but no number is going to match with the 100 value. So your status variable will be false only. It will not change. It will false and will not insert if block. And now what will happen if, because you have written fixed true there, so it will jump inside if block and it will say value found. But how the value found? Because you are searching 100, but use return true there, fixed true there, hard coded true, it will jump in if block and say value found.
तो सर उसको
Is wrong.
वैल्यू मिली नहीं तो वो ट्रू में कैसे जाएगा?
You have written true na here,
Yes.
so that's why you cannot write true there. If you write true, it will always go in if block and always say value found. Whether found or not found, it will always say value found. So we cannot write here true fix there. You have to write status. So status value is not true fix. It is sometime true. It is sometime false. If the value found, the value is true, and if the value not found in array, the status is false.
Okay, sir.
So status value is not fixed true. It is sometime true. It is false. So whenever the value found in array, it goes inside if block. Otherwise, it goes in else block. So if you write a fixed value there, it will always jump in if block, which is wrong. Yes. So anyone has any doubt here in this code? Yes, please confirm. Anyone has any query here, doubt? Yeah, also, and yeah, in last session also I got a message. I actually forgot to answer that, because we were discussing about code. So there is one concept called debugging, means we can check our code line by line how it is working, okay, in the software. But we will not do that, means debugging thing, because we want to see the code and try to understand what the code is doing. What is the value of the array now? What is the value of status after the 2 iterations? So we should be able to track this manually, means just by looking at the code, uh, we should tell what this code will do, what this code is trying to do. So that's why if we go line by line and try to build the logic, it will be better than using one concept called debugging, which we'll see of course later in Java and all languages. But first we should be able to understand our variable and a value inside the variable. That is important, because values are changing here, you can see with every iteration. So we should be able to track those values. So you write it in comment, you write in textbooks, but slowly you will not require both textbooks or comments. Okay, so any doubt in this? Okay, so for today I will give you one more homework question, because that one is a simple one. So one more homework question I am giving you here. This is also on based on array and loop, array question.cpp. So the question is, write a program to create array. You can create any array with any values you want, okay, and display sum of even numbers only. So you know how to find out even numbers from array. Now you have to print sum of the even numbers. Sum means total. So write a program to create array and display sum of even numbers only. Again, one demo related to array. So you can see here now linear search. Linear search is the simplest searching method that can apply to given collection of data. Given in list of items, an item to be searched in the list linearly compared uh, will compare the item sequentially with the elements in the list. Because the element in the list are compared sequentially, it is also known as sequential search. So this is also known as sequential search, linear search, sequential search, same. Linearly searching or sequentially searching. To understand the implementation of linear searching algorithm, consider an example where you need to search the record of employee whose employee ID is 1420. The employee ID is 1420. From a list employee record, linear search will begin comparing the required employee ID with the first element in the list. If the value do not match, the employee ID will be compared with the second element. And if the value do not match again, so we'll check with the third element and continue the same process until the desired employee ID is found or the end of the list is reached. So if the desired element found, so it will do less comparison, maybe one comparison only, maybe 10, maybe 1400. Okay, and there are chances if the data not found. So if you have 10,000 element, it will check all 10,000 element, but finally will say not found, data not found, which is a worst situation. So efficiency of this is C. While performing linear search, if the desired record is found at the first position in the list, you have to make only one comparison. Therefore, the best case efficiency of linear search is O1. Big O1 means constant. Constant means only 1 second. However, if the desired record is stored at the last position in the list or does not exist in the list, you will have to make n comparisons. N means your data. If you have 10 data, 10 compare, 1000 data, 1000 comparisons. Where the n is the records in the list, the length in the list, size of the list. Therefore, the worst case efficiency of linear is On. It cannot exceed linear means n, because if you have 10 element, of course it will make only 10 comparison. So the order of growth of linear search is linear. It makes n comparison or less than n comparison. So best case is 1 and the worst case is n. So the problem is if you have more data like 10,000, 20,000, so the chances are it will make 10, 20,000 comparisons and then give you the data. Yes. And this is the average case they have found. Like average means if you have 15 elements, so 15 plus 1 divided by 2, 8 comparison. So if the element is present in the middle, so this is the average means they calculate. Average, you know, like best and the last, first and last element divided by 2. So we got the average or kind of median here. So while implementing linear search, if you find that element in the is not present in the list, how many number of comparison would you have to made to search the required element in the given list? You are searching one number, it's not there only in list. So how many comparisons you will make? Tell me. First, n minus 1 or just one comparison? Have you written in? Okay. In chat we can see some answers. Very good. N comparison, if you have 5 element, you are searching for element not present in the list, it will search all 5 and finally say not found, but 5 comparisons are made. So answer is n is correct, not n minus 1 or 1 is not correct, only n is correct.
सर
Yes.
आपने अभी बोला कि अगर बेस्ट सिचुएशन होगी तो वहाँ पे O of 1 है, लेकिन
Correct.
अगर मुझे थर्ड पोजीशन पे मिल रहा है तो O of 3 आएगा.
Yeah, so that is become On now. Then every data the daytime time is increasing. Okay, so actually this is O of one is means this one case they are saying if you are searching data and if you find the data in starting, so it will take less comparison, and it is in last or not present in the list, so the worst case is linear. That is what they are trying to explain here. So O of 3 is not there. Actually, in big O notation, we don't have O of 3 or something. Then O of 4 is there, O of 5 is there. So it can be denoted as O of n actually, because every data time is increasing. So that is O of n. Okay. So in big O notation, we only have O1, On raised to 2, On raised to 3 cubic or exponential like this. Okay, so as we discussed, now binary search is also very interesting and simple. Actually, all searching algorithms are simple here. The binary search is one of my favorite, means its logic is one of my favorite. It is not searching big list, but its technique is very interesting to know. It works on a technique like divide and conquer. So we'll see this in the next session. I will send you these files now, all the files. If anyone has any query doubt, you can ask me.
सर कितना सर्च है इसमें?
Sorry?
अभी बाइनरी के बाद और भी सर्च है क्या इसमें?
हाँ, there are 3 search and three sorting options are there, na? We use 2 sorting algorithm. One is remaining that we will see next time, because when we created explanation will take time. After that, doubts will also take time. So we'll do that in the fresh start of next session. And in searching also we have 3 linear binary and one of the best technique, hashing technique in the searching. So there are 3 searching technique, 3 sorting techniques given.
बस इतना ही है डेटा स्ट्रक्चर में सर?
Sorry?
बस यही सर्चिंग और ये 3 सॉर्टिंग इतना ही है डेटा स्ट्रक्चर में?
After that we have linked list. There is a tree concept is there. 6 chapters are there. No? We are sorting and searching is only 3 chapters. First chapter is theory. Other 2 chapters are searching, sorting. We have total 6 chapters. Krupesh, means I just wanted to know, means have you attended previous session, previous and previous to previous session, bubble and insertion sort? So what is the actual doubt you have in bubble sort, means bubble or insertion sort? How it works, means I didn't get your question. Bubble sort works on passes technique. It checks the entire list, and with every pass it decreases the comparisons. And whereas insertion sort takes one key value and compares with others. So this is how it works. So if you have, we also created one notepad on this and also code, of course. So in bubble sort it compares 2 value at a time and compares, and finally we get the largest element in the last. So if you do this in a notepad or a book, you will understand more better. I will suggest that. And then it again compares your list. This time it will only make 2 comparisons, and in the last it only makes 1 comparison. And at the end of all 3 passes for this 4 list value, you will get the complete data in sorted. So this is how the bubble sort works. It works on passes, and with each pass it decreases the number of comparisons. Whereas your insertion sort takes the number like 2, then checks with the previous number. Do we have to shift the number? No, because it's less, it's not greater. So we'll take the next key value. Is this number, previous number is greater than this number? So it's not again. So we don't have to shift values. We don't have to see the previous number also, because that are already checked in the previous iteration. Then we will go here. Sorry, Yeah. Now we will go to the last value and check the previous number. So do we have to shift? The previous value is greater. Yes, we have to shift. So here it will go 3 and here we will make it 4. And check with the previous value, we have to shift with this? No. So this is how the insertion sort works. It takes the key value and compares the previous list. If required, then only it do the shifting part, and not required, then it proceed further. So it's not like a bubble sort, where bubble sort do the fixed number of comparison. Insertion sort make comparison and shifting part only if the values are greater or less, depends on what you are doing, descending or ascending. So currently I was doing ascending, so I was just checking greater element, and I found greater element only in this position, so I shifted there. So this is how the insertion sort works. And a quick sort has a complete different technique. Quick sort finds the data greater and smallest number, then divide, then again greater smallest, and keep doing that thing. It works on a pivot value that we will see in the next session. Now the pivot value is the quick sort is the one which we can use for larger list, large element list. Where is the 22 folder here? 2203. Yeah, here. Okay, so I'm sending the CBV file. Please try the CBV file. So as we discuss, we'll just end meeting today just 10-15 minutes before. ARR demo 1, AR demo 2, linear and notes demo. So all the homework question of previous session and new homework question, try those. Where is linear search? Linear search was there. Yes. So next session, first we'll try the quick sort. So if we start as a fresh quick start, so we can easily understand it. It's a simple thing. Again, we have to see the code with arrays and loops, and recursion is also there. There is one email ID here in the last which is wrong. So I forwarded the email. Where is the email address? Yeah, this email address there is wrong in the last. Correct. Okay, so just try these two homework questions for now and linear search code once. So next session we'll try quick sort, and if possible, so we'll continue with searching in next session. Okay, so I'm ending the meeting now. Thank you. Bye bye. I will mark your attendance same from backend. Okay. Bye bye. Good night.